Good morning. Hope all are doing fine. As I promised you, in this class, I will teach the rest of the prose, a horse and two goats. We left the prose in the middle and we just went for the drama. Drama two scenes are left since I thought better to finish this prose off first, and then we will be reading the rest of the scenes, and by that time we will complete the syllabus assigned for half yearly. And then my sole focus is to go for the revision work, because I haven't taken any revision test for half yearly. Before half yearly I need to take some, and before I proceed in taking the revision tests, I need to finish the syllabus. So I need your cooperation. One more thing that I'd like to tell you, that is, I find in the live classes you all are asking questions, you are asking the teachers to read or to teach you. Actually, that class has been arranged in order to solve your doubts. Okay, that is a doubt clearance class. So you need to follow the video classes every time, and after going through that, and all the worksheets and study materials also you have to check, because whatever we are teaching in the video, we are trying to give all those in written form in the worksheet and study material sections. So those are equally important. After going through all those, if you find anything, any problematic question or any doubt, then you will ask in the live class. Okay, so please do utilize the time and do utilize the classes that has been assigned to you. And here I'd like to tell you one thing, that is, while I'll teach, all of you are asked to open your book and mark whenever I'll ask. Okay, because in the next live class onwards, I'll start asking questions. So be very careful about that. So let us begin. As I remembered, I taught you up to page number 60, and we just finished up to this line. I am the one doing the rounds and joining her letter. Let us have a quick recap. We just finished there when Muni made some indistinct sound in his throat and shook his head encouraged. The other went on to explain at length, uttering each syllable with care and deliberation, because the foreigner thought he is having difficulty in understanding any foreign language. So he tried his best to make it as lucid as possible. So he said, last August we probably had the hottest summer in history. I was working in T-sleeves in my office on the 40th floor of the Empire State Building. We had a power failure one day, and there I was stuck for 4 hours. No elevator, no air conditioning. All the way in the train I kept thinking, and the minute I reached home, Connecticut, I told my wife Ruth, we will visit India this winter. It's time to look at other civilizations. Next day she called a travel agent first thing and told him to fix it. And so here I am. Ruth came with me. I staying back at Srinagar, and I am the one doing rounds and joining her letter. So that was something told by the foreigner. To this what Muni replied. Muni looked reflective at the end of this long oration. This seems to be a long speech to Muni, as obviously he understood nothing, and said rather feebly, yes, no, as a concession to the other's language, and went on in Tamil. So only these two words he said in English. As a concession to the other's language means as a concession to the language the man who is speaking that is English, and the rest he started talking in Tamil. When I was this high, the same speech that Muni, we have seen, Muni uttered the same story. When I was this high, this happened. When I was this high, this happened. And he again started with his old same story. When I was this high, he indicated a foot high. A foot high. I heard my uncle say, and he went on, ... used. No one can tell what he was planning to say. We do not know. The man who was facing Muni, he also did not know anything. As the other interrupted him at the stage to ask, "Boy, what is the secret of your teeth? How old are you?" Muni forgot what he had started to say and remarked, "Sometimes we too lose at our cattles." Now, Muni, what had happened to him? He also forgot where he started from and where to end actually. So, he started to say and remark, "Sometimes we too lose our cattle." So, again he is changing his, the way he was speaking and the speech actually the first speech he started with now he is deviating from that and he started with another speech, that is, sometimes he also lost cattle. Jackals or cheetahs may sometimes carry them off, but sometimes it is just theft from over in the next village. So this also happened to their cattle also. And then we will know who has done it. Our priest at the temple can see in camphor flame in the face of the thief, and when he is caught, he gestured with his hand a perfect mincing of meat. So he is saying that in our village also sometimes our cattle are stolen. So what did we do? We just go to the village priest. He saw the face of the thief in the camphor fire, and immediately we found that thief, and then that mincing, he is just showing his hand gesture as if he is mincing, means after that he faced a terrible future. The American watched his hand intently and said, "I know what you mean. Chop something." So he did not understand Muni's words, but Muni's gesture is quite understood by him. So he said, "Oh, you are showing something chopping, right? Maybe I am holding you up and you want to chop it. Where is your axe?" So the foreigner is saying, maybe you want to chop the wood. Shall I hold you up? Okay, you want to do, where is your axe? Hand it to me and show me what to chop. You just hand the axe to me, I'll chop. I do enjoy it, just a hobby. We get a lot of driftwood along at the backwater near my house, and on Sundays I do nothing but chop wood for fireplace. Here we can see the foreigner is much interested in chopping wood, and he often does when he gets free time. So he is asking Muni, "No, that what you need to chop, just tell me, I'll do that for you." I really feel different when I watch the fire in the fireplace, although it may take all the sections of the Sunday New York Times to get a fire started. So when I just lit the fire using my driftwood, it feels good. Even if it takes the whole newspaper of New York Times to get started. Means obviously the driftwood is used, but often it takes the newspaper. The newspaper, that is their newspaper, New York Times, it takes all the pages to get started. And he smiled at his reference as if he is saying something very humorous, so he just smiled at his own words. Muni felt totally confused but decided the best thing would be to make an attempt to get away from the place. So Muni again felt confused because he did not understand anything. So he decided to leave the place. He tried to edge out, saying, "Must go home." He tried to go out and he's saying that must go home, and turned to go. The other seized his shoulder and said desperately, the other means the foreigner grabbed his shoulders and said desperately, "Is there no one, absolutely no one here to translate for me?" So here we can see how much disappointed he is. Okay, and he feels actually is misunderstood, and he is eagerly asking him to arrange for someone who will translate for Muni. He looked up and down the road, which was deserted in this hot afternoon. The stranger almost pinioned Muni's back to the statue and asked, "Isn't it this statue yours? Why don't you sell that to me?" So now their conversation is shifting from the previous ones to this about the statue. The man is seen interested in buying the statue. So he is asking, "Do you own the statue? Would you like to sell that to me?" The old man now understood the reference to the horse, although for a second, and said in his own language. So he somehow understood the reference of the horse, as the man is showing his fingers to the horse. So again, only this he understood by seeing the gesture, but he did not understand the language. So he again started saying, "I was an urchin high when I heard my grandfather explain this horse and warrior." When I was an urchin high means, urchin here means actually urchin means there is a sort of animal having thorns on its body, but here he wants to mean a small mischievous boy, means when he was at his like an infant, he was a kid. His grandfather used to explain about this horse and warrior, and my grandfather himself was this high when he heard this grandfather. So when my grandfather was this high, he also heard the story from his grandfather. Whose grandfather? So there is a continuation and ... The other man interrupted him. "I don't want to seem to have stopped here for nothing." The man is saying that I don't find any cause to stop here. "I will offer you a good price for this," he said, indicating the horse. He had concluded without the least doubt Muni owned this mud horse. It seems that the man is quite convinced that this horse is owned by Muni, and that is why he offered, he's going to offer a good sum in order to buy the horse. He had concluded without the least doubt that Muni owned this mud horse. Perhaps he guessed by the way he sat on its pedestal, like the souvenir sellers in the country presiding over their wares. So why do he think, actually why does he think that? Because he found the way Muni was sitting on its pedestal, means the base of the statue, the way he was sitting, as if that was his souvenir. Okay, and he is selling that the way the other souvenir sellers often do to sell their product. Okay, over their wares means over their trade. So that Muni looks like a seller of the souvenir, the way he was sitting. Muni followed the man's eyes and pointing fingers and dimly understood the subject matter. So Muni followed the man's eyes because Muni cannot understand the language. So Muni started following his gestures and the way he was looking, this thing. So Muni saw that Muni was actually minutely looking at the foreigner, and he was actually watching the foreigner. What was he doing? What was his gestures? What was his behavior, and what he was pointing at, these things. So he just closely examined his eyes, dimly understood the subject matter, because he hardly understood feeling relieved that the theme of the mutilated body had been abandoned, at least for the time being. So he somehow get assured about the fact that the dead body's matter has been subsided. Okay, they are not the man is not concerned about the mutilated body, means the amputated dead body that you already read in the previous pages, that is found there in between two villages. Okay, Kritam and Kuppam. So has been abandoned, and said enthusiastically, I was this high when my grandfather told me about this horse and the warrior, and my grandfather was this high when he himself. So he got quite, what to say, relieved, and he again started with his old story that when I was this high, I was told this story by my grandfather was told the story by his grandfather, and so on. The Tamil that Muni spoke was stimulating. It was quite encouraging. Even as pure sound as the foreigner listened with fascination. The foreigner was quite fascinated in listening the language. I wish I had my tape recorder here. Who said? The foreigner. He said, amusing the pleasantest expression. Your language sounds wonderful. So it seems that he is very interested in listening the language, and he got also fascinated. So he is wishing to have a tape recorder there with him so that he could record. I get a kick out of every word you utter here. So he is saying that with every word you utter, I get a kick. He indicated his ears like that. But you don't have to waste your breath in self-talk. I appreciate the article. You don't have to explain its points. So the foreigner is thinking that he is just advertising his product. So he is saying that you no need to just invest yourself in the business talk anymore. Since I am already impressed, I am going to buy this. I never went to a school. In those days, only Brahmin went to schools. But we had to go out and work in the field morning till night. Now sowing to harvest time. Now who is saying that? Muni. We have seen Muni started saying this. Muni is saying that I never went to school. In those days only Brahmin went to school. Here you will get to see the social system when Muni was in his childhood days, how they were actually deprived to take the primary education, and only the Brahmins were allowed. So work in the field morning till night from sowing to harvest time. So their only work was to sow the seed and wait to the harvest time. And when Pongal came and we had cut the harvest, my father allowed me to go out and play with others at the tank. And so I don't know the Perangi language you speak. So he is actually showing here how, what to say. He has no option left. And here we can see how helpless and desolated he is while he is saying that after the harvest time ended, we were given permission by our fathers to go and play in the tank with our friends, and we were never allowed to have the primary education. That is why I do not know the Perangi language, means the foreign language that you are speaking with. Even little fellows in your country probably speak the Perangi language, but here only learned men and officers know it. So he is saying that in your country it may happen the little children, they can speak in the foreign language, but in our case it's not possible. Here only learned men and the officers can speak in it. The foreigner laughed heartily, took out another cigarette and offered it to Muni, who now smoked with ease, deciding to stay on if the fellow was going to be so good as to keep up the cigarette supply. So the foreigner laughed and he offered a cigarette to Muni. But now Muni knew how to smoke a cigarette with ease, deciding to stay on. Previously he decided to leave the place, but now he decided to stay here, to stay there if the fellow was going to be so good as to keep up his cigarette supply. So he is actually he is actually getting obsessed by having the cigarettes, and he is thinking that if the man remains like this, he won't mind to stay there. The American now stood up on the pedestal in the attitude of a demonstrative lecturer and said, running his finger along some of the curved decorations around the horse's neck, speaking slowly and uttering his words syllable by syllable. Now the man, he stood up on the pedestal and he started showing his fingers on the curve of the horse, and he started saying, I could give a sales talk for this better than anyone else. This is a marvelous combination of yellow and indigo, though faded now. How do you people of this country achieve this flaming colors? So he said, I am so good in speaking a good business talk, and he started asking how the people of your country manage having those striking and flaming colors and use it in the statue so nicely. Muni, now assured that the subject was still the horse and not the dead body, again he is relieved, said, this is our guardian. It means death to our adversaries. At the end of Kali Yuga, so this is our guardian means he is actually referring to the horse. It means death to our adversaries. Means it is symbolizing the end to our adversaries. At the end of Kali Yuga, this world and all other worlds will be destroyed, and the Redeemer will come in shape of a horse called Kalki. This horse will come to life and gallop the trample down all bad men. There is a mythical story. He is actually quoting our own ancient ancient knowledge about this different yugas and about its significance, then what will happen and how it will happen about this. So he is saying that this is Kali Yuga. At the end of Kali Yuga, the Redeemer will come, means the Savior. He will come in the form of a horse, and he will be actually saving the good people, and will come to life and gallop and trample down all bad men. It will just trample down all bad men. By this way, he will be saving the world from the bad people, from the bad intentions. While he was brooding on his pleasant vision, the foreigner utilized the pause to say, I assure you that this will have the best home in the USA. So he is concerned about the horse. So he is saying that I can assure you that it will have its best home there in USA. I will push away the bookcase. You know I love books and I'm a member of 5 book club. And the choice and bonus volumes mount up to a pile really in our living room. So he is saying that even if I am a book lover and I am a member of this 5 book club, and there you will get to see a pile of books in my drawing room, but I will be shifting those books. And the choice of bonus volumes mount up a pile really in our living room as high as the horse itself. So the pile of the books, that it is exactly the same height of the horse. But they will have to go, but they have to leave. Means the books, their place has to be changed. Ruth may disapprove, but I will convince. Mooney continued his description of the end of the world. So again he is continuing with his speech about the end of the world. Our Pandit discoursed at the temple once how the oceans are going to close over the earth with a huge wave and swallow us. So he's saying that once a Pandit, actually he horoscoped something, that one day this wave will become very big and it will gallop everything and it will swallow us. This horse will grow bigger and the biggest wave and carry on its back only the good people and kick into the flood only the evil ones. So that is obviously a mythical story. It has no base, but since Mooney is a believer of such things, Mooney is saying that this will happen and the horse will be saving only the good people. It will be carrying them on its back, and the rest evil people, it will drop into the water. Plenty of them about, he said reflectively. Do you know when it is going to happen? He asked. So do you know when this is going to happen? The foreigner now understood by the tone of the other that a question is being asked and said. By this question, with this question of Mooney, the foreigner only understood it was a question. What was that? It's not understood to him. So he said, I am not a millionaire but a modest businessman. My trade is coffee. So he is thinking that Mooney is asking about his profession. So he is saying that he is not a millionaire but he is a good businessman, modest one. So his business is coffee. Amidst all the wilderness of obscure sound, amidst all the wilderness, amidst all the gathering of such this weird sound, Mooney caught the word coffee and said, if you want to drink kapi is written within quote unquote, it is Mooney's pronunciation. He is actually pronouncing coffee as kapi. Drive further up in the next town, they have Friday market. There they have kapi hotels. So I learned from passerby. So Mooney is thinking that the foreigner is asking about coffee and he wants to drink some. So he is saying that yes, in the next town they have Friday market and there you will find kapi hotels, means coffee hotels, and I learned from passerby. This news Mooney got from the passers-by. The foreigner said, I repeat, I am not a millionaire. Ours is a modest business. After all, we can't afford to buy one more than 60 minutes of TV time in a month, which works out to 2 minutes a day. So he is again saying that I told you I'm not a millionaire but a modest businessman. We have to work hard to earn money. We could only have a respite of 60 minutes for the whole month, and only we invest that much time in watching a TV, and 60 minutes means 30 days into 2 minutes. Only 2 minutes per day we can allow ourselves to watch the TV, which works out, that's all. Although in the course of time we will maybe sponsor a 1 hour show regularly if our sales graph continues to grow up, and that can be a little bit high if we can find our sales graph that is been growing up. Then the visitor, feeling that he had spent too much time already, said, tell me, will you accept 100 rupees or not for the horse? So the visitor, feeling that he had spent too much time, the foreigner has spent too much time, so he just decided come to the direct point. So he said, tell me, will you accept 100 rupees or not for the horse? Will you accept 100 rupees or not for the horse? I would love to take the whiskered soldier also, but no space for him this year. Whiskered means a mustache, having mustache. So I would like to have that soldier also. Soldier is also looking very fascinating, but this time we have no space for him. I will have to cancel my air ticket. I will have to cancel my air ticket if she likes, but I will go with the horse and keep him in the cabin all the way if necessary. I'll be taking him and I'll be putting that in the drawing room of ours if necessary. And he smiled at the picture of himself voyaging across the seas, hugging this horse. So if he is not allowed to take this horse and travel by the flight, he will be going by ship. So he is actually imagining that he's having a good voyage and he's holding the horse's neck, hugging him. He added, I will have to pad it with straw and so that it doesn't break. So he has decided he will be taking this horse off along with him. I have my station wagon. As you see there is a car. I can push the seat back and take the horse in if you will just lend me a hand with it. So I will be taking the horse inside my station wagon. If you have to just help me with your hand. So up to page number 63 I will teach today. In the next class, hopefully I will be completing. Yes, I will, definitely. Only 4 pages left. I will. So up to page number 63. All of you do read the story. It's quite an interesting one. You will have fun definitely while reading. And in the next class we'll be finishing this off. And then only 2 scenes left. As I told you, very soon we will finish that also. Finish those scenes also. So yes, as I always say, take care of yourself, take care of everyone around you, and do attend all the classes carefully. Please utilize the time, okay, with its proper usage. Don't just waste it. And as I told you, ICSE is not going to compromise on your on their pre-decided time and dates regarding examinations. Okay, so be very careful. Have a great day ahead. Thank you for being so patient.